Hey guys, this is my week 2 video. It's a week late because I've been having all kinds of problems. So I'm going to do this video and then do this week's video, week 3 video as well. Okay, so this is to do with coming out, and I'll start right at the beginning because I actually technically really came out twice. The first time round was when I was about 18, 19, I think, maybe 19. The first person I told, it wasn't so much coming out as just kind of bouncing the idea off someone else. My girlfriend at the time. I think I said something like, I should have been born a boy. And then after that, I spoke to one of my friends who was actually kind of going through the same thing, but the opposite way around. Like, he thought maybe he should have been a girl. So we used to kind of sit around. I'd wear a suit, he'd wear a dress, just on our own, sit around and have a drink together. The whole time, well, around that time was pretty hazy because I was into quite a lot of drugs then, and I wasn't very happy. I find it difficult to look back at that time because I can't remember a lot about it really, not details anyway. I told my mum and dad around that time as well, and they were really supportive, and it actually turned out that one of my dad's best friends was trans, and he was FTM, which I found really strange out of all the people in the world. So my dad suggested that I speak to him, but at the time I didn't really feel confident enough, and I didn't really know what questions I wanted answered. I didn't really know enough at the time. I started to do a little bit of research, but didn't come up with much. A lot of the time then I was just trying to forget about it really, just getting it off my head and putting it to one side. So in between then and when I came out the second time, I had a couple of girlfriends, well, maybe 3 girlfriends, that I obviously had to speak to them about it every time. Some of them were more understanding and supportive than others. I always found that pretty difficult because I wanted them to treat me as male, and only one of them did after the first girl that I told. So there's been 2 until now. So yeah, when I got to the age of 24, I decided that that was it, that I couldn't carry on the way I was living. So I came out pretty much again to my mum, kind of brought it back to her attention. I remember the way I did it. We went for a walk along the beach one day. It was in winter. It was early January in 2008, I think. No, 2009. So we got talking about stuff, and I said, do you remember that I told you that I didn't feel as though I was born in the right body? And she said yes, and that she knew that it still bothered me, but it was never really brought up in conversation again after the first time I came out. So yeah, she was really understanding, and I just basically told her that I couldn't carry on the way I was living, the way I was feeling, and I was going to go for it, and I was going to transition whether or not I really had the support of the people that I was going to tell. It was just something that I had to do. And then I spoke to my dad about it again, and he was fine with it. I started to tell some of my friends. Some of them already knew from the first time around, some of my older friends, so I just kind of brought it up again with them. I got fed up of explaining myself, so I wrote out kind of like a standard Facebook message or email, just explaining what I was planning to do, the way I felt, and just saying I hope that people could accept me the way that I am, and that it doesn't cause any problems in our friendship or whatever. I sent those out to quite a lot of people, probably around 30-40 people. I had some really like beautiful, heartwarming responses. I've never had a negative response from anybody when I've come out. I definitely realised who my true friends were from the way that they replied. I mean, everybody was okay with it, but some people were particularly supportive, and I've continued to speak to those right the way through my transition. As far as family goes, outside of my kind of parental unit, because I don't really see my family all that much, and I haven't known them that well because I moved away when I was 2, so I only really have my mum and dad around me. I didn't feel that I could talk to them about my transition. This is pretty hazy as well, really. I can't remember. I think it must have been, I don't know whether they just found out through Facebook because I changed my name and that kind of thing. I spoke to 2 of my aunties about it and asked them if they would speak to my grandparents. And it turned out that I wasted quite a lot of time that I could have been spending with my grandparents and my family through kind of thinking that they wouldn't accept me. It turned out that every single one of them's been fine with it. They've all been supportive. They're all interested in my transition. They want to get to know me, and I wish I'd have known that sooner. I'd probably encourage people to come out to your family sooner than later, because you don't know what you're missing out on. And also, that way, if it is a negative response, then at least it's kind of out of the way and you can deal with it and you can put it to one side, instead of always wondering whether they're going to be okay with it or not. As far as coming out to anybody goes, I've always found it easier to write a letter or send an email unless I'm particularly close to that person. Then I can kind of actually sit down and speak to them face to face, although I've never been particularly good at that kind of thing. I'm quite a shy person. But I think you know in your heart who's going to be okay with it, and I would suggest telling those people first. Telling the people that you know will have a positive reaction to it, because then that spurs you on and gives you the support to tell other people, and then it kind of snowballs and kind of rolls on from there. It did for me anyway, and I know I've been really, really lucky because I've had no negative responses. I think that it depends on how you come across as well. If you come across as if you just say it from the heart and how you really feel, and let them know the pain that it can cause, the pain that it would cause to stay the way you are, I think people understand a lot more then. Also, over the past couple of years, there's been more talk about what we have to go through and about our transition process, and I think a lot of people are a lot more open-minded about things now. Not everybody, of course, but I've been pretty lucky, and I'd encourage people to do it as soon as possible, because then you can start living the rest of your lives the way you're meant to be. And that's all I've got to say for this one. But if you've got any questions, just send me a message on my personal channel, which I will put down there. And thanks for listening. Bye.